Spartan race is a delicate dance between the mind and body. To succeed is to endure physical torment. By controlling the mind, one is able to ignore the body's message of discomfort, resist the urge to surrender, and find solace in small, momentary triumphs. In the world of Spartan racing, the body achieves what the mind believes. Today, thousands of Spartan racers will unite on Montana's grueling sprint course to test their physical and mental resolve. For the elite echelon of obstacle racers, it is the first clash. The beginning of an epic battle to be crowned Spartan U.S. champion. It is the evolution of a young man's journey as he looks to lead his parents across a course symbolic of his personal struggles. It is a father's belief that a champion must rise from within. Today, the force that ignites the spirit and binds each one of us together is alive in Big Sky Country. This is only the beginning. The 2016 Spartan U.S. Championship Series starts now. It's just past dawn in western Montana. It is here amongst the dense rolling hills and vast blue sky where the story of the 2016 Spartan U.S. Championship Series will begin. For Spartan's elite racers, today represents the starting point of a 4-month-long mental and physical odyssey. The first of 5 grueling races that make up the Spartan U.S. Championship Series. With an impressive rookie season now behind her, elite women's racer Lindsay Webster enters today's race, looking to build off the momentum of her second-place finish in last year's Spartan World Championship race.
Lindsay Webster.
Well, last season was my first season as a racer, so it was all very new to me. I had absolutely no idea how my season would play out or how I was going to do in this sport. I look back on placing second at World Championships, and it's still kind of a little bit surreal. I had a great season last year, so it kind of puts pressure on a little bit for this year.
For elite men's racer and 2015 Spartan World Champ Robert Killian, the series ahead will serve as a proving ground, a means to leave behind his dark horse moniker and establish himself as the premier obstacle racer in the world.
I want to win the U.S. National Championship Series. More than anything, I want to solidify in their minds that, I am the best well-rounded OCR athlete in the world right now.
Montana, California, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Colorado. The 2016 Spartan U.S. Championship Series will unfold over the course of 5 distinct races. Speed, strength, and endurance will be tested as contenders must prove they can conquer each Spartan race distance.
To win the U.S. National Championship Series, you have to be well-rounded. You have to be well at sprints. You have to be well at supers. You have to be well at beasts.
The difference between a sprint and a beast is quite significant. So if you're able to win both of those events, in my eyes, you're one of the fittest athletes on the planet.
In the end, racers will keep their top 4 scores, and the elite male and female with the highest cumulative point total will make obstacle racing history and be crowned the 2016 Spartan U.S. Series champion.
To be the champion, it'll take a level of focus and determination over months. Every race is going to count. You have to be able to finish strong no matter what.
It's going to take a lot of what obstacle racing entails. Determination, focus, grit, a lot of constant drive.
The U.S. Championship Series means a lot in the sport of obstacle racing.
We want to show the world that we're a legit sport with awesome athletes. We want to be a sport that people respect.
We're here in Montana at the start line of the Big Sky Sprint, and I'll tell you what, I am pumped. This is the first race in the Spartan U.S. Championship Series. This course is steep and it's technical, with grueling climbs and treacherous descents. One misstep could leave an athlete with a busted ankle or a season-ending injury. The top Spartan athletes are out here today to make a statement, with the hopes of finishing on the podium and earning critical series points.
Located on the shores of Montana's Flathead Lake, today's Big Sky Spartan sprint course is pristine, steep, and rugged. Racers will begin their journey at the mountain's base, making their way through technical trails and a series of obstacles before facing the first of several epic climbs to the mountain's peak. To make it to the finish line, Spartans will go toe-to-toe with arduous terrain and 24 strenuous obstacles, guaranteed to test the limits of both the body and the mind. The elite men begin to make their way to the start line, and the beginning of a 4-month-long fight to be crowned Spartan U.S. champion. Today's field is stacked with obstacle racing royalty, such as top-ranked sprint specialist Bracken Crocker, one of Spartan's rising stars, 30-year-old Ryan Kent, 2015 Spartan World Champ Robert Killian, and the runner-up in the past 2 Spartan World Championships, Canadian Ryan Atkins, who enters today's race determined to leave behind an off-season calf injury, and the elite men standing between him and the podium's highest spot.
My goal coming into this race is going to be to kind of find myself. It's kind of a systems check coming into the season. I'm definitely nervous. I think that anyone who says they aren't nervous either doesn't care about the race or is just lying to themselves.
Out of the gates, National Guard Captain Robert Killian pushes the pace, while looking to establish a mental strategy he hopes will throw his competition off course.
I started out the race pretty fast. I wanted to try to control it from the beginning. I knew there was a lot of guys that would be gunning for me, and I wanted to make them work for it. I like to run my own race, but at the same time, I like to play with that idea that, hey, maybe I can break them mentally early out the bat. If I see that weakness, if I hear somebody struggling, I'll just change gears right there. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into racing. I'm 34 years old, the guys are like 28. I got to find every angle that I can get.
The physical and mental chess match has only just begun, with Robert Killian and the elite men beginning the first of many steep technical ascents to the mountain's peak, with 5 miles of rugged terrain and 22 obstacles still ahead. Today's Spartan Big Sky Sprint is just getting started.
A powerful mind can push you way further than a powerful body.
If you give up, you're gonna hate yourself tomorrow.
Getting your mind ready for any kind of event is what carries your body through.
It's a body thing, but you still have to be very conscious.
As long as your mind keeps going and keeps motivating yourself, your body can handle it.
You're also thinking about the things that motivate you to get out there and push yourself. That's my family and my friends.
Push through no matter what. Just continue to keep going. At the end of the day, you gotta finish.
The medal is just an object. What really means the most is mental toughness and a positive attitude.
All right, Spartan, this is it.
Poised and focused, the women of today's elite heat represent the top tier of the sport. And with 2013 world champ Amelia Boone sidelined by a stress fracture in her hip, today's race is up for the taking. Amongst the crowd of powerful women is Canadian superstar Lindsay Webster, race favorite Rose Wetzel, and newcomer Faye Stenning, who enters today's race with the hopes of pushing past pre-series nerves in order to establish herself at the front of the elite women's pack.
I'm nervous, like super nervous. This level is just super, super competitive. I just try and focus on myself. All I know is there's no opportunities to make any mistakes. You gotta execute a perfect race, and if you make any mistake, you're done.
The elite women's heat starts off with a burst of adrenaline as track superstar Rose Wetzel works hard to not burn out early while trying to keep up with KK Paul and the front of the elite women's pack.
The race started and KK took out really quickly, and I tried to stay with her but also gauge how I was feeling. I felt pretty good, and then the hill started. Some people train for everything all the time, and I tend, because of track season, to train for speed first and then endurance. So to have the hills early on threw my legs for a loop. I remember thinking to myself, I needed to stay in contact with the front pack without totally blowing up.
As the elite women grind their way to the mountain's peak, the elite men make their way to the mountain's base, where they'll face a series of strength-based obstacles, including a sandbag carry of epic proportions.
We're here at the sandbag carry, the first significant strength obstacle of today's race. The racers are going to arrive gasping for air. They're going to grab a bag, heave it up onto their shoulder, and head up the mountain. This is one of the steepest sandbag carries that I have ever seen, and it also happens to be one of the longest, coming in at over 300 meters long. This obstacle is going to take a toll on the quads, the calves, and the lower back, leaving your lungs and legs crushed as you head back up the mountain. Here come the elite leaders right now.
I had a pretty good lead, I would say like 20-30 seconds, and I felt like I was controlling the race, and I really like that. I'm controlling the pace that Ryan's running, I'm controlling the pace that I'm running, and I want to maintain that. It's good to have that peace of mind. As soon as I grabbed the sandbag, I ran until I couldn't run anymore, just so Ryan and Brad can be in there like, damn, Killian's running up the hill, he must still have some left. I think that kind of hurt me towards, halfway up when my quads were just burning, my calves were burning, just like straight up on fire.
Right now, as you can see, we've got Robert Killian still up in the lead, but Ryan Atkins has moved up well. I can guarantee that Ryan Atkins is hurting from that calf injury. We talked about how much those calves are screaming and aching as you go up a steep climb with a 40-pound sandbag on your back. This is where things can really turn in your race. It is very easy on an obstacle like this to redline too early, blow out your legs, and then absolutely suffer through the next climb of this course.
Just through years of racing, I've kind of developed a certain element of confidence. If you let yourself get intimidated by maybe not having the lead or seeing someone pulling away on a long climb, then that'll get inside your head. And once you have that negative feeling inside your body, then it sucks you right down, it takes away all your energy. So you just have to avoid that no matter what.
So far, the world champ is looking good. This race is only getting started.
Today's Big Sky Spartan Sprint is well underway, with KK Paul holding a small lead over a determined Lindsay Webster as they lead the elite women into the sandbag carry. Not far behind in fourth place, Faye Stenning is determined to push past the intimidation and doubts that come along with trailing the head of the pack on such a grueling obstacle.
KK and Lindsay were going so fast, and all I was thinking about is, you're a little girl, you're so small, and you're not good at the heavy carries. And then I just said, screw that. So I picked up that sandbag, and I actually started running with it. The legs were feeling really good. Power hiked past Rose, and then I was just focused on getting up with KK and Lindsay. I knew as soon as I got to the top, even if it was scary to run down this rocky, nasty terrain, I'm gonna run as hard as I can. Every once in a while on the course, it's like these negative thoughts come down, and then I just try to like whack them out of my head.
Keep it up, keep it up! Come on,
I finished and I was like, yes, got rid of the rest of the gang, now it's me and these girls, now we're gonna fight, and it was awesome.
Now 2 miles into the race, Robert Killian begins to feel the effects of his aggressive pace, with Ryan Atkins stealing the lead as they work their way through a pair of strength-based obstacles, the Herc Hoist and Lot Carry. Now trailing behind in a surprising 5th place, Bracken Crocker must work through both physical and mental anguish if he has any hopes of catching the race leaders and making it to the top of the podium.
rarely the fastest runner here, so I have to keep people in range and either wait for some mistakes on their part or the terrain to open up that I can take advantage. So heart rate's out of control, my calves were really bad, and about that 10, 12, 15 minute mark, staying in range, that started to leave. It was a demoralizing point, so I thought I'm gonna run every possible step of this hill and try to gain something back. With this level of competition coming in, there was some uncertainty, but I knew I'd had a great off season. I knew I was fit. I knew I'd improved a lot of my weaknesses from last year. I thought I'm just gonna latch on and get through it. This was a gut check, kind of make or break moment.
Nice job. Nice job.
Come on, Bracken! As the elite men approach the third mile of today's brutal sprint course, at the mountain's base, open-class racers prepare to conquer the same physical and mental obstacles as the elites before them. Amongst the crowd of strong-willed racers is a young man determined to step outside of his mental hardships and lead his family on a journey through today's unyielding sprint course.
My name's Sean Weckel, born and raised in Walnut Creek, California. I'm very active kid, very happy. Once third grade hit, I ended up missing a lot of school that year due to issues and problems with anxiety and depression. And specifically was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is going to be the highs to lows. Oftentimes fighting a balance that goes both ways, which is very difficult to treat. Tried over 30 different medications. Those medications all had side effects. As a result, I really spent most of my time just working on being healthy, which limited me in opportunities to make friends, to go out and have a good time and enjoy life. My family was affected by this in a very severe way. It was very tough for them to see me struggling.
It's completely unpredictable. It's enormously frustrating. The toughest part for me, if you will, standing by, sometimes helplessly.
It was devastating, it was scary. It's brought me to my knees more times than I can count. Our message to Sean is you are strong, you're courageous, you're intelligent, and to never give up the fight.
I still do struggle with anxiety and depression, but it is a lot better, and that's because of a lot of hard work I put in. My parents were a big part of that process.
Yeah, we're filming with them.
They're there for me. They're there to battle with me. For me, exercising and sports, it really provided a great outlet for my anxiety and my depression. I did a bunch of sports. From there, I became a triathlete. I ended up becoming hired as a personal trainer, and that was really a life changer for me. I'm able to get out, breathe, relax, and really be in the present. I came up to Montana to do this Spartan race with my parents. It's their first race, so they are a little bit nervous.
I am so nervous.
It is an intimidating event to a certain extent. As somebody that has been through the race before, I'm looking forward to switch up roles. I'm gonna put them in a spot where I can support them, where I can push them a little bit and provide some of the same encouragement they provided me growing up. We've been through a lot and we'll fight this out together, one step at a time.
Follow all the action at Spartan Race and join the conversation using the hashtag Spartan on NBC. After a steep ascent to the mountain summit, Lindsay Webster has gained control of first place, with Faye Stenning and KK Paul not far behind. Now trailing in a surprising fourth place, race favorite Rose Wetzel enters the Hercules, determined to not give up in the face of mental and physical anguish.
At the Hercules, I didn't even see them. I was pretty beat up, but at the same time, I wasn't out of it. I wasn't feeling defeated by any stretch. I was feeling like, okay, I have to just dig deep and personally assess how I'm feeling. Am I doing as well as I can? am I doing as well as I can? So I saw everybody the log carry, so that was encouraging because I was like, okay, they're not very far ahead of me. They're right there, just grind it out. Move your legs, drive your elbows, drive your knees, and as soon as you can dump this log off, take off and run. To me, having perspective is the key ingredient in my being able to continue to finish a race well and strong, even if it's not going as well as I thought it was going to go.
After losing control of first place at the mountain's peak, Robert Killian continues to show his physical and mental resilience, overtaking Ryan Atkins as he leads the elite men into a new obstacle in this back-breaking course.
Every year, Spartan Race loves to up the ante, and this year is no different. This is the Tire ladder. The athletes have never encountered this one before. They're going to navigate across this obstacle using hands and feet without touching the ground, make it to the bale, and then take off running. If they do touch the ground, that's 30 burpees, and their race is as good as over. Here comes Robert Killian now. He's still in the lead. Let's see how he does.
Coming into the traverse ladders, probably had a 25-second lead on Ryan. So I'm like, if I climb this way, maybe I don't have to reach out as far to hit the bell. I'll already be feet first. I quickly learned that that probably wasn't the fastest way to do it. He was right next to me at the finish, and it was a little frustrating. Spartan race is a big, emotional roller coaster. There's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, metaphorically and physically. I would say I managed the stress by, just thinking of times that I did succeed. Winning the 2015 Spartan World Championships was huge for me. I was really hoping I'd podium. I had no idea, I was gonna, win. It was pretty overwhelming.
And in first place, we have Robert Killian!
I couldn't believe it. My family members right there at the finish. It was surreal. Those moments, will just be always ingrained in my mind. I have an extremely supportive family. I live in Longmont, Colorado. What do you want to do? Having, a family is important to me. My parents, split up when I was at a very young age. Times were hard. I went to live with my uncle. He took care of me, raised me, and he definitely instilled hard work into my life. I would do anything for my son, I'd do anything for my daughter, I'd do anything for my wife. They're my life. Just to see the smiles on their face, and it drives you, it makes you work harder. My goals for this year, I want to be the U.S. champion and I want to be the world champion. I want to be the first person to win the Spartan World Championships twice. It's never been done. Competing in a lot of military background type of events, like the Gogi, definitely gives me an edge over the other competitors.
Part of what's going on here is you get to check you for frostbite. When it gets really bad, it turns black.
Last year, dealing with some of the winter elements was really difficult.
Left.
I figure, hey, why not go into the coldest environment possible and prepare myself, mentally and physically.
All right, we're just gonna walk towards the draw.
Not just, focusing on running or strength training. I'm doing a lot of different functional tasks. I think that helps build grit, that helps build determination. And all that stuff factors into a different type of athlete. Coming into the season, I'm trying to mold the races. Now I'm putting my own spin on Spartan. I want to keep them guessing. I want to keep it interesting. I want to try to control every race. I want to not just win, but to, set the standard. I'm hoping I can become a legend. As my kids get older, I want them to look up to me and be proud, be an inspiration for them. I definitely want them to see that hard work pays off, see that, you have to be committed, you have to set a goal, and you have to, do whatever it takes and never quit to achieve it.
The story of today's Big Sky Spartan Sprint continues to unfold, with Lindsay Webster holding a sizable lead heading into mile 3 of the course. Now 30 seconds behind, Faye Stenning has her sights set on breaking KK Paul and fighting her way to the top of the podium.
Right now, I am making gains on KK. So every chance I could, I was like, okay, let her know that you're right behind her, scare her a little bit, like break her down mentally. I'm like, she's got to be more tired than you, Faye. Like, you've got so much energy left. So I was just trying to like mentally just destroy her willpower. And then I was trying to chase Lindsay down. Come on, Lindsay, pick it up. I was like, I'm still in striking distance. I'm still in striking distance. I can run as fast as her. I'm as strong as her. I've got good grip as her. I just need a bit more time.
As the elite women journey further into today's Big Sky Spartan sprint course, Sean Weckel leads his parents toward an obstacle that has pushed even the strongest of elite racers to the edge of exhaustion.
When I first walked up to the sandbag carry, first thing I could think of is I gotta get my mom and dad through this. The length of the sandbag carry was extremely long. Looking at it, it's very daunting. It definitely was the first big, intimidating obstacle that we had to face together.
Alright, 1.5 guys, nice and strong.
On the way up the hill, I'm looking at my mom and she's looking like she's having a hard time.
Take a second. Breathe.
When your body is in a ton of discomfort, when your comfort zone is pushed to a level that you haven't pushed it before, your mind goes into a different place.
Again, mind-body, right? That connection there.
Time does slow down. In the end, you need to focus on the task at hand. You need to be strong through it.
You got it. So proud of you.
Seeing my mom rally and push through the pain of the obstacle was amazing. I definitely knew from past experiences that there's a ton of race to go. I know they both can complete it. It's just a matter of getting them there.
While Sean and his parents continue to band together in the face of adversity, the elite men remain engaged in a battle of attrition as Robert Killian has once again reclaimed the lead from Ryan Atkins as they make their way through the rope climb towards an obstacle that can make or break the race.
Going into the spear throw, I took a quick peek and saw that Ryan wasn't too far. I was like, all right, grab the first spear I see and try to launch it so that when I make it, he knows he has to make it at that point. That puts, tenfold pressure on him. The stress before the spear throw, there's nothing like it in the race. If I nail the spear, it's like a weight off my shoulders. The rest of the race is a breeze, I can relax. Until I get to that point, though, it's just in my head.
Burpees on your left.
Now, I just put more pressure on myself. Ryan made it. There's less than a mile left. It's not going to be an easy feat to try to beat Ryan or Bracken, who's a speed demon. That's a blow. I mean, it hurt.
Now suddenly the podium's in sight. No matter what else happens, clear your mind and make the spear, because nothing else matters. The entire race I've done up to this point is out the window if you can't make the spear. You lose it all on a 1-second obstacle. I made it, and as soon as I left, I heard someone say, Killian just finished his burpees. Good news, bad news. Killian did burpees and is tired. Bad news, he's probably not real happy right now, and anger's a real good motivator.
Spartan's elite women are in the final mile of today's Big Sky Sprint, with Lindsay Webster holding a comfortable lead as she makes her way through the rope climb towards the spear throw.
I get to the spear throw and I'm thinking I have to hit the spear. Take a few deep breaths to try and get your heart rate down, steady hand. And lo and behold, I missed. It's really frustrating when you don't hit that spear and you know it can make or break a race. I put in all this work to create a gap on the girls and done everything I could to eke out every single second that I had in front of them, and then every single burpee you do, it's like watching one of those seconds go right back down the drain.
Let's go, Lindsay, let's go!
With less than a mile left in the course, KK Paul and Faye Stenning arrive at the spear throw, looking to capitalize on Lindsay's costly mistake.
Lindsay missed a spear. KK ended up missing it.
I'm like, oh my goodness, this could be my opportunity to win this thing.
I positioned the spear in my hand, relaxed my upper body like I practiced. It just doesn't go in. And now we're in a burpee battle. I got done my 30, and at that point, I just was like, run away from KK.
Not far behind, Rose Wetzel approaches the spear throw in a dismal 5th place, hoping to turn around what has been a disappointing performance in a race many expected her to dominate.
Coming into the spear throw, I was in 5th place, and then I heard that everyone had missed the spear throw ahead of me, and I was like, here's your chance to make some ground. You can do this. It's just like time stops. I focus on one straw, one little straw, and I put all of my thought and energy into that, and I throw as hard as I can. I nailed it, and oh, I feel such an adrenaline rush. It gives me this rejuvenation. The race in Sparta is never over until it's over.
As the elite women make their way to the mountain's base and the end of their journey, Sean Weckel continues to lead his parents across the physical and emotional peaks and valleys that come along with today's unforgiving sprint course.
Getting up to the peak of the mountain, my mom is definitely struggling still a bit.
All right, stay low, take your time slow, just watch your head, watch your back.
My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer a number of years back. The operation that my mom had as a result largely limits her upper body strength, mobility, and flexibility. I realized that it was very important that I continue to root on my parents.
All right.
And coach them through the obstacles that I know so well.
All right, guys, so we're pulling.
Completing a Spartan race, you have to be mentally tough. You have to stay in the moment, stay in the present.
Get the back of your weight, get it up first.
See my mom handle that the way she did was great. She was a complete warrior for pushing through.
Doing great. Keep breathing. Good.
It was something that she couldn't have done a few years back.
One more strong. You got it. All right.
Seeing my parents step into my world and into the Spartan world with such confidence, such energy, such drive, despite all the obstacles, motivated me big time.
As the Weckels celebrate another obstacle conquered, the elite men's battle rages on, with Ryan Atkins holding a small lead over Bracken Crocker as they head into the final stretch of today's Big Sky Sprint.
Ryan was out of sight, out of mind, and then I started getting updates.
40-second lead on me. 40 seconds.
And I heard someone say 13 seconds. I thought 13 seconds, that's maybe doable. Barbed wire I am awful at, and I had 2 guys on my hip that I didn't want there. I said, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Let's attack a barbed wire. And so I attacked it. It was awful, but it was incredible at the same time because I found out that I actually can. I was just too mentally weak to do it in the past.
Not far behind, Robert Killian refuses to fall victim to his missed spear throw and has set his sights back on the podium.
Go, Killian! You got it, breathe!
For about 30, 40 seconds, I was back there feeling sorry for myself. And I was like, hey, you're not out of this yet. So yeah, I took 3rd place right before Bucket Brigade, and man, we got to the bucket, and I thought I could catch Bracken. I could be back in it for like 2nd. tried to jog a little bit. I mean, he turned around, looked at me. He's like, okay, I got you. You want to change gears? And he did the same thing.
Knowing that this point series comes down to each place is worth 1 point. Positioning is everything. To really come out of here with success, everyone wants to finish top 3. And now there's 4 fighting for 3 spots. And at that last mile of the race, you're kind of running off desperation. You need that position, you need that point. It raises the level of what you're willing to do. And so everyone's laying every single card out there on the table.
We got
Today's Big Sky Spartan Sprint comes to a dramatic conclusion, with Ryan Atkins edging out Bracken Crocker for first place, and Robert Killian fighting back for a podium spot with a 3rd place finish. While the men celebrate their hard-earned victories, the elite women continue to battle the elements as they forge ahead towards the finish line and the conclusion of today's Big Sky Spartan Sprint. With less than a mile left in today's Big Sky Spartan Sprint, Lindsay Webster continues to lead the elite women in what has become a physical and mental tug-of-war. Not far behind, Faye Stenning remains focused on hunting down Lindsay in first place. But with KK Paul closing the gap between 2nd and 3rd, the predator is also the prey.
I got into the barbed wire and I was so tired. Like, I was just exhausted, but I was like, don't make all that 4 miles of work for nothing. I knew KK was coming. People were telling me to keep rolling, go fast, you don't have time. So I was just rolling like a maniac. My heart rate was so high. I was so dizzy. I was just like, just get to the finish line and as quickly as possible, because there's another girl behind me and she's probably just as hungry as I am and wants to win this just as bad. So there's no easing up ever.
Never one to give up, Rose Wetzel remains poised and focused as she sets her sights on KK Paul and a podium finish.
I saw that barbed wire and I was like, okay, get down there, be consistent, use your core, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, stay focused, because there's someone out there who you could possibly catch by the end of this race.
Rosie, you gotta have it. You gotta go.
After that barbed wire, KK was actually only like 20 seconds ahead of me. I haven't done burpees. She's done burpees. Let's go for this. Like, come on. So I fill my bucket as quickly as I can, pick it up, and go. My legs started to feel more and more exhausted. I still kept a good mindset. As athletes, there are times when mind over body is really important. When your mind says to my body, come on, one more hill, one more heavy carry, there's someone right there, you gotta go more than you want to and think you can. Your body does respond. Racing is so challenging and difficult and painful. To be able to last over an entire race, mind and body have to work in unison. It's a delicate dance.
Today's elite women's race comes to an end with Lindsay Webster continuing to prove her dominance, finishing in first place, with newcomer Faye Stenning close behind in second, KK Paul in third, and Rose Wetzel in fourth. While the elite women reflect on today's inaugural race, Sean Weppel and his parents continue to grind their way closer to a finish line symbolic of the struggles they've endured on and off the course.
All right, let's do it. Ready? Yeah. Towards the end of the race, looking at my parents, they were worn down, they were dirty, they were tired. However, I still saw that drive in them. Crossing the finish line was a very minute task relative to everything we had already been through.
Keep going, you're doing great.
This race, for me, was very symbolic in the sense that the tides are changing a little bit. I've learned a lot over the years through the struggles I've been through.
Keep going.
I've learned to never give up, to always know there's that light at the end of the tunnel. Even if you can't see it, it's there. And value those that are close to you.
Don't give in to the moments. His star is brighter than its glow.
Every day I struggle with bipolar disorder still. It's something that requires constant maintenance and constant attention.
Each step is another step towards that finish line.
Spartan race and the emotional roller coaster that comes along with it is very, very similar to real life. The highs, the lows, the pains, the joys, the successes.
Second place from Calgary, Canada, we got Faye Simmons.
Happy to come home with second place for sure. If you finish the race and you have like nothing left in you, you ran as hard as you can. Now I gotta figure out how to beat Lindsay.
Taking home the title today, Lindsay Webster.
Last year it was the dark horse, and this year I'm sort of the target. I'm not quite sure how that makes me feel yet. It's a lot of pressure.
And in third place, Robert Killian.
Third place was tough today, but it's my fault that I missed the spear. Like, it's on me. It's going to be a fight to the finish in every race. Whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in a race is going to be the guy who wins.
Life is difficult. It's a learning experience. It's a constant battle. However, if you can take the good out of it, if you can learn from it, and put one foot in front of the other, you come out successful.
As the sun begins to dim in Big Sky Country, the fire in the hearts of all Spartans will continue to burn bright. For Spartans Elite, today's race is only the beginning, as 4 races still remain on their epic odyssey to be crowned the first ever Spartan U.S. champion.